Hey yo, what's up? I made a I don't even know if I made a video about it, but anyway, I had a old Chromebook I got for 60 bucks. It was some Acer machine, and I upgraded the SSD and was running Windows on it, kind of using it as my backup machine. And for a while, I was using it as a third monitor for my computer, and I was running Discord and Telegram and all that stuff on, like all these apps on that machine. I was using Barrier, which is I guess it's an open source fork of Synergy. It allows you to use keyboard and mouse between multiple computers. It was running pretty good, kind of. It didn't have any Ethernet on it, so I was having a lot of problems with inconsistent internet speeds because the Wi-Fi that we have is off of a very old router and it doesn't work very well. Um, and I was using that computer as kind of my torrent machine, where I was running a VPN on it, torrenting movies, uploading them to Plex, and just running on Wi-Fi was crap. So I'm like, what do I want to go out and try to buy an Ethernet cord, Ethernet to USB adapter because this Chromebook didn't have Ethernet on it. And I was scrolling through Marketplace and I saw this laptop. Now this is not my first Inspiron 1525. I had a second one that was given to me by a sister-in-law's ex-boyfriend actually, and I used that for a while. And they're really not like I hate Dell. I hate Dell hardware. I just do not like Dell. But this laptop is really not that complicated. It's actually a pretty simple machine, and I don't mind these Inspiron laptops of this line, of this age. So this is like a 2006, 2005, something like that. It's mid 2000s. It's not a bad machine. You got your hard drive on the side. You have a whole bevy of ports. So, USB, VGA. It's got Ethernet, but also phone jack. HDMI. I think that's. I want to say that's FireWire. I don't know if it's actually FireWire. I'm not. You have to forgive me, but. And this laptop, for being how old it is, it actually has relatively decent battery life. But on the side, I have I think it's S video out, more USB, and then there's a CD drive. And one of the reasons why I bought this laptop is because I knew how much ports it had. It was right within my price range, and it's got Ethernet and a DVD burner, basically. You can upgrade the RAM and hard drive. So I ended up getting this. Now, it's basically just a simple laptop. It's definitely bigger than the Chromebook that I had. It came with 1 gigabyte of DDR2 RAM, two 512 megabyte modules. Not very much. It doesn't really want to run Windows 10. I can get to the desktop after a lot of struggling, but trying to do things on the desktop, it struggles so hard to do anything. So I was looking for DDR2 RAM locally, no real weeds, like on Facebook or Kijiji or whatever. So I did buy it came with 24 bucks, this RAM kit here. 2 gigabytes DDR2, and I bought them. They came on Friday. These are off of Amazon. They have no markings on them other than these stickers. The chips, as far as I can see, they have, it might not show up. Yeah, I think that's Micron, that symbol there. I put these in, the laptop booted up, and it ran. It ran for about 20 minutes. It blue screened. It will not boot with those modules anymore. Like, it just won't boot. You hit the button, the screen will stay black, and won't do anything. As soon as I popped in the old RAM again, it booted up. So those are getting returned. I need to take them back in the bags and ship them back to wherever they came from. Also, one of the things I like about this laptop is it's got I don't know if my camera can make those up, 2 headphone jacks, a mic jack, and an SD card slot on the front. So it's actually quite a versatile machine, and apparently you can upgrade the CPU on these things, because right now it has a Celeron, but apparently you can put a Core 2 Duo in it, which is something that might interest me in a while. But the battery for this age of laptop, like at least 15 years old, it actually has 20 minutes, half hour, 40 minutes of battery life, which is not bad at all. But yeah, there's your battery. Just pops off. Your hard drive, you undo the 2 screws and you pull it out. And you have, under here, the RAM is right here. There's a CPU. It comes with a heat pipe to a heat exchanger, I guess. There's a fan. It blows out of this hole. Pretty simple. I already opened this up. Put new thermal paste and everything, cleaned it. It wasn't even that dirty to begin with. But yeah, it's not a bad laptop. You got all your service information. And like for a Dell, I actually really don't mind this machine. It also has your physical, I guess, Wi-Fi on and off on the side, and you can pop the battery out. Forgive me for struggling so much. And I need to look up what this is, but there's a what is that? SIM card? There's a SIM card slot in this thing. I don't know. I don't feel like there would be, but it's pretty an old laptop. I don't feel like it would have a SIM card, but who knows? So, yeah, like I said, this is not my first version of this laptop. I had one before. I actually ended up having 2 gigabytes of RAM, or about 4 gigabytes of DDR2 RAM that I put inside of it, but I had foolishly taken the whole thing apart, because I kind of like to do that, and I had a weird issue where I'd put the laptop back together, and I'd leave the keyboard popped out, and it'd be sitting on the top, and it would work just fine. And as soon as I put the keyboard back in the right spot and bolted it down, I would have a whole bunch of dead keys over here, and a whole bunch of dead keys over here. I basically could not use the laptop keyboard, which kind of dampened its appeal to me, but it does that, and you can hear everything. Your Dell boot up screen. It will take several minutes, upwards of probably 10 minutes to actually get into Windows 10, but oh well, that's what you expect, especially on a 1 gigabyte of RAM. So that was a painful 10 minutes that it took to boot up into the start screen. Yeah, 1 gigabyte of RAM is not enough, I don't want to say, for just a stock install Windows 10. It's not good. You really can't do anything with this with 1 gigabyte of RAM. I could put Windows 7 on here. I'm waiting for the new RAM to show up, because I bought this and it showed up here on a Friday, right? And I put it in, and then I'm like, I'm gonna return it, and I already bought new RAM, so it should be here on Monday. But yeah, it's waiting for the SSD to show up too. I bought an SSD because it's like I can go buy a 120 gigabyte SSD for less than $20 on Amazon. So anyway, yeah, well, I'm gonna show you the specs. There's not much to be proud of, but yeah, see, I hit Windows start key and it's like spinning his tires. Windows is not responding. Oh wow. Then there's the standard activate Windows. I might see if my license key works or not, but finally I got into settings. Intel Celeron 550, 2 gigahertz, 1 gigabyte of RAM, Windows 10 Home single language. Yeah, it's kind of the king of schoolboys. I really probably should put Windows 7 on this thing, but I just don't want to do another Windows install, especially on old and slow machines. So, I guess that's probably a 120 gigabyte hard drive. So, not bad. Eventually we will get the RAM upgraded and an SSD put in here, and this thing will run like the wind. Hopefully. But that's all I got. So, a few months later, I am making another part of this video. I proceeded to get the RAM off of Amazon, put it in here, and it would run okay for a couple minutes, and the computer would crash, and it would look like it was overheating, and the screen would fill up with random pixels, and it would lock up. I can insert photos. And it didn't want to work, and I would reboot it, and it would keep doing that every 3 or 4 minutes. And I took this laptop apart, I tried cleaning it, I ordered a second CPU, and I tried everything I could think of to try to get this laptop to work properly. I thought it was overheating, because that's honestly what it looked like. It looked like it was overheating. And I went to disassemble the laptop and unplugged the fan, and I pulled the fan out, and the entire connector on the motherboard for the CPU fan blew up and broke. So it basically became a paperweight after that. I could try to MacGyver the fan running, but knowing how Dells tend to work, I tried MacGyvering fans on Dells, and Dells won't often boot if they don't have the fan connected the right way. I had an old, it was a Dell server machine, workstation machine I found at the scrapyard, and someone had pulled off the cooler off the North Bridge, and that machine would not boot. I put a fan on it, I put a heatsink on it, and it got it running, and it would not boot because it did not detect a signal from the fan. and I ended up just tossing the whole computer away. So I went on eBay. I found an identical model of this laptop for $9. So I bought it, and here it is. I put the RAM kit from Amazon in, and it was running okay for a couple weeks. And I normally just leave it sitting here. I have Discord open or Telegram. Normally I have transmission and a VPN running on it, and it was working okay. And then it started having every couple days, the computer would seem like it was overheating. But it's definitely got a lot of space underneath it, and it's venting off the side of the desk here. So it's got all the air in the world, airflow. And it was still acting like it was overheating, and then it got worse. It was slowly getting worse, where I could boot the computer up and it would overheat in 5 minutes. So I pulled out the Amazon RAM kit, and I put back in, I found a 2 gigabyte stick and a 1 gigabyte stick. Put it in, and this computer has not had any problems since. So I think part of this was the Amazon RAM, which it was a different brand, and it still doesn't work. But it took long enough for me waiting for this laptop to show up, and installing it and figuring out the issue that I'm out of the return date and out of warranty. So it's just running 3 gigabytes right now. And it normally just sits here. And I have my Telegram and Discord running. It doesn't want to run Roller Coaster Tycoon, unfortunately. I wanted to use that. And I don't know how good the battery is on the new one I bought. The old battery wasn't bad. This one, I unplug it, it's dead in 2-3 minutes. It is definitely slower with whacking that 1 gigabyte of RAM, but I think I can max put 6 in here, but then it's like you gotta find a 4 gigabyte stick of DDR2, and you gotta find another 2 gigabyte. Well, 2 gigabytes not hard, but 4 is more difficult. And it just sits here, and I have it plugged in with Ethernet, and I've been just plug my headphones in. I can plug this in and use my headphones with a mic on this when I'm doing Discord calls, playing games on my other computer. And I can also, I was using this mic. This mic actually works really well. So it's all in all doing pretty good, doing everything I needed to do. And it's got the SSD inside of it, and it works pretty good. I'm not having any issues. So I don't know. I think these are like budget ThinkPads, essentially, these Dells. Even though I hate to admit it, I don't like Dell, but these are kind of, depends on your purpose, but these are kind of solid machines.